Hi, I'm Ashley Walker and here's a roundup of the week's eco news from Barometer. The Olympic city of Rio de Janeiro is facing growing criticism for its polluted shores. And the White House unveils a new initiative to help Americans prepare for the effects of global warming. Brazil is not only the host country for the World Cup this year, but it is also the host for the nation for the Olympic Games in 2016. But the city of Rio de Janeiro is facing criticism that its rivers are too polluted to host the events.
Washed up on the shores of Guanabara Bay in Rio de Janeiro, this toy car is symbolic of the problem that the bay faces: polluted waters and coasts. The iconic beaches are threatened by untreated sewage and trash, which is simply discarded with no regards to nature. Guanabara Bay and the famous Copacabana beach are two sites which host Olympic events such as marathon swimming and triathlon events. For biologists, the announcement of the Olympic Games came with hopes that pollution would be a problem of the past.
But unfortunately, with 2 years until the Olympic Games, the situation is basically the same. The Brazilian authorities seem like they live in a parallel universe, in a world of rose-colored glasses, that has a different smell, different colors, that doesn't have the trash we see floating and accumulating in the mangroves along Guanabara.
One of the promises to secure the bid for the Olympic Games was a clear commitment to look after the problem of polluted waters. Keeping this promise is necessary to guarantee the health of athletes and also avoid trash interfering with competitions. But biologists say that the problem doesn't just need to be tackled in the bay itself, but further upstream.
Install river treatment stations upriver that block the flow of trash and sediment and that would treat the sewage that finds its way into the rivers which flow into Guanabara. We need at least 7 to 8 treatment stations of this design in the major rivers that flow into Guanabara.
Last year, Rio State Environmental Agency said that the beaches were unsafe for swimming, with pollution levels 390 times above the recommended level. But whether Rio's local Olympic organizing committee keeps to the promises to make its waters cleaner will be tested in August during the biggest sailing competition Brazil has ever staged.
Other environmental issues in the news now. Environmentalists are unhappy with the way the European Union reacts to climate change and energy policies. Ahead of the debate by its heads of state, protesters demand clear emission goals set higher than the current 40%. They say the goals are too weak to make great achievements. Sao Paulo is testing its first totally battery-powered public bus. The motivation behind the vehicle's creation is to reduce the emission of pollutants in the atmosphere. After being charged, the bus can drive for 200 kilometres, after which it needs a charge of 3 to 5 minutes. But so far, the government has not yet said whether it will fund the project on a long-term basis and whether the bus will be approved for usage. While preparations for the World Cup are underway in Brazil, the region of Sao Paulo, Brazil's largest city, are struggling with a water shortage. Sao Paulo is on the verge of water rationing, while some smaller cities are already experiencing water restrictions. The water levels in riverbeds continue to shrink as the region is facing the worst drought in its history. In an effort to help Americans prepare for the effects of global warming, the White House has unveiled a new initiative which makes climate data widely available. Citizens, companies and local governments will be able to access the data. The move is part of President Obama's Climate Action Plan. According to some research, the cause of climate change. Just like many other countries, the US is gearing up to fight this problem. Part of tackling climate change involves adapting to it, and the administration launched a website to help people do that.
This announcement today will not only bring new technologies to this community and new data to this community, but I think more importantly, it'll allow us to share what each other's communities are doing, best practices. So one community.
The White House will also release mapping information about critical infrastructures such as bridges, tunnels and roads to help prepare for natural disasters and climate change related problems. The initiatives are aimed at committing the United States to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by roughly 17% compared to 2005 levels by 2020.
The importance is that it gives us foresight. It gives us the ability to look ahead, to think ahead, to analyze ahead, and make sense of alternative courses of action that lie before us. It reduces some of the uncertainties that we face from head of household to head of state as we contemplate a very dynamic future.
This initiative is part of President Barack Obama's Climate Action Plan, a broad strategy to meet US commitments to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide that are blamed for heating the Earth. Obama has made fighting climate change a focus this year for executive action as legislative initiatives such as immigration reform falter in Congress. That's all for today. See you next week. Goodbye.